welcome back to the channel. My name is Alex and today is going to be a little bit different video. It rained most of the day today, so we weren't able to get a video filmed outside for you guys, but we didn't want to leave you hanging without any content. So today we're going to be doing a cooking video, and I'm going to be showing you guys how we make our homemade ice cream. So before we get started, I'm going to show you guys the ingredients, but I just wanted to let you know that we are making a vanilla ice cream today. So this is basically just a simple base recipe for vanilla ice cream. If you want to add in, toppings, ingredients, strawberries, chocolate, or whatever to make it whatever you want, this is just the base for a French vanilla ice cream. So down here, I'm going to show you the ingredients that you need. First, you're going to need 2.5 cups of half and half. You're going to need 8 egg yolks, just the yolks. And you're also going to need a cup of sugar, 4 teaspoons of vanilla, and 2.5 cups of heavy whipping cream. Also, you're going to need just a pinch of salt. On the heavy whipping cream and the half and half, don't skimp on the fat content. They do say that you want it to be full fat, makes the ice cream better. I know it doesn't sound good, but you want that to be a full fat content on the heavy whipping cream and the half and half. So I'll put this in the bowl and I'll show you guys getting it mixed up. So first I'm going to be mixing the egg yolks and the sugar together. So this is 8 egg yolks, like I said. I'm going to dump that in this bowl. And then you're going to need a cup of sugar. And for these 2 ingredients, you just want to whisk them together real good until they are white and, not white, but they're a lighter color yellow and kind of fluffy. I'll show you guys what it looks like when I'm done whisking here. So one thing right here, you see how they're kind of a darker yellow? You want to whisk it until it's a little bit lighter color yellow, and I'll show you guys that. Okay, so as you guys can see, this is kind of the consistency that I want to see it, and you can see that the egg yolks are a lot more pale in color. So when you get to about this point, you are ready for the next step. What you want to do next is measure out 2.5 cups of half and half and put it in just a medium-sized saucepan, as you can see here. Just put it on the stove and turn it on low. I'll show you guys doing that real quick. So you need 2.5 cups. That's about a half right there. I'm going to get this going on about medium heat. And you're going to want to get a whisk and keep stirring this. What you want to do, just keep stirring this. Don't let it boil. You want to get it hot to where you kind of see some bubbles around the edges, but do not let it boil or it will ruin this recipe and you'll have to start over. So I'm going to keep stirring this and I'll show you guys when it's ready for the next step. As you can see, there's a few bubbles around the edges. Once you start seeing some steam, you guys probably can't see it on camera, but I can see a little bit of steam coming off. You know it's hot enough for the next step. So I'm going to show you guys how we do this. Alright, so now that I have my heated half and half mixture, and I have my egg yolks and my sugar in this bowl, the next step is and it's very important not to mess this step up, because if you do, you could end up with scrambled eggs and nasty ice cream. So be careful about this step, and what it's called is tempering your egg yolk mixture. So if you have an extra set of hands to help you out on this part, it makes it easier, but if you don't, all you do is you just take your half and half mixture, and what you're going to want to do is just slowly, at first, just barely dump some in there, but constantly be stirring your egg yolk mixture. By doing it this way, it keeps the eggs from getting too hot and basically having scrambled eggs. So you just slowly want to add in that half and half mixture. Don't get in a hurry on this part because it's very important that you do it this way. So I have all of it mixed up in here, the egg yolks and the half and half mixture. And now what you're going to want to do is take your saucepan, put it back on the stove, and then dump this mixture back into the saucepan. And don't worry about the little bubbles on the top. If it's a little bit frothy, that'll go away. And now that we have this on the stove, you want to turn it back on to medium heat and continually stir this mixture. Do not let it burn or do not let it boil, or it will ruin the mixture. So just keep stirring this until you'll see, and I'll show you, you'll know it's ready whenever this mixture coats the back of a spoon, and it'll kind of thicken up, and you'll see that. So I'm going to bring you guys in here and show you this. This is done. So what I meant by coating the back of the spoon, so you can tell it's a little bit thicker. You want to take the back of a wooden spoon or just whatever you have, and if you wipe your finger down it and it doesn't come together like that, then it is ready. So I'm going to turn this off and bring it over here. Now over here I have measured out 2.5 cups of heavy whipping cream, and you're going to want to add this mixture to the heavy whipping cream. But before I do that, you guys might be wondering why I have this strainer here. This is for just in case there are little pieces of egg in there. It'll strain it out. If you want to have, just get it like a fine mesh strainer and it'll be good. But this is just a precaution so you don't have little pieces of egg in your ice cream mixture. So once you have all that mixed in there, just give it a good mix. And at this point is when you're going to be adding your vanilla and your salt. Let me get this mixed up here pretty good. So like I said before, the recipe calls for 4 teaspoons of vanilla. This is probably like the 4th time I've made this ice cream recipe, and I find that 4 teaspoons of vanilla isn't enough for Jacob and I's liking, I guess you could say. So I'm using 5 teaspoons of vanilla. You guys can play around with it, see what you like better, but for us 4 teaspoons just wasn't enough. It didn't really have that, vanilla flavor. So I have 5 teaspoons of vanilla here, and I'm just going to go ahead and add that in. Give that a good stir. And I forgot to mention, this recipe makes 2 quarts of ice cream. And I'll be leaving all of the ingredients down in the description, so you guys can try to make homemade ice cream yourselves. Now I'm going to add the salt, and it calls for 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. So basically a pinch of salt. I'm going to measure it out just to make sure. Let's not do it over that in case it all dumps in there. So this is 1/4 of a teaspoon. I'm just going to do half of that. It's not much salt, but let me tell you, if you don't put the salt in there, it makes a huge difference. So now that I have everything mixed up and the ice cream mixture complete, all that's left to do is just get some plastic wrap, cover it, and stick it in the refrigerator. The recipe calls for it to be in the refrigerator for about 8 hours or overnight, whichever is best for you. I'm going to be leaving this in overnight because it's kind of late. But before I put this up, I just wanted to tell you guys kind of a funny story. It's kind of too funny not to tell you, really. And it wasn't funny at the time, but looking back on it, it is. The last time I was making this ice cream mixture, I got to this point right here. Like, I'd mixed all the ice cream, put it on the stove, kind of a tedious process. But I got to this point, I was covering it up, and all I had left to do was to put it in the refrigerator. And have you guys ever had those days where just nothing is going your way? Because that's kind of how I felt this day. I was using these little contraptions. I'm not even sure what they're called, but you put them over like a bowl so it kind of covers it and keeps it sealed. And I was really, putting this thing on there, struggling to put it on there. And I didn't have anything underneath this glass bowl. And I'm telling you, I was struggling to put it on there, and it just slipped out from under me, or out from under this. I'm telling you, ice cream mixture was all over my kitchen. I mean, I don't think I've ever made as big a mess as I did that day with the ice cream mixture, but like I said, it was not funny at the time, but I can kind of look back on it and laugh. It was a disaster, and I know some of you guys have had those same experiences where it's like, man, you get something done, it looks good, everything's doing good, and then just heck breaks loose. I thought that was kind of a funny story, but because I know some of you guys have probably experienced the same thing. But those are the types of things that you learn lessons from. I will never use this thing again when I'm making ice cream. And I'll just be more careful, and I'll just use plastic wrap. So anyways, I just wanted to tell you guys, it was kind of a funny story, but a little off topic, I know. Anyways, I'm going to put this in the refrigerator. When you guys see me next, it'll be tomorrow morning, and I'll be putting this in the ice cream maker and showing you guys how we do all that. But for now, this is going in the refrigerator, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Alright, so it's the next day, and we've had the ice cream mixture sitting in the fridge overnight. I don't know if you guys might not have seen this. I'm going to be using my KitchenAid ice cream mixer attachment. These things are pretty cool. I got this for Christmas from one of my sisters, and I've used it like 4 times now, and I love it. Let's get over here to the KitchenAid mixer and get started on this ice cream. So I'm going to show you guys real quick how to attach this ice cream maker to your KitchenAid. It comes with these 2 parts right here. This is the dasher, is what they call it. This part attaches to your KitchenAid stand right here. So let me get that piece on there. It just kind of slides on like that. And then just take the base and kind of screw it onto the bottom. Put this in there, and you're going to want to line that up right there. You want to connect the dasher to this part right here. And they say whenever you're using this, you want to go ahead and lock it down and get it going on low before you put your ice cream in there. So I'm going to start this up, and then I'm just going to dump my ice cream in off to the side, and I'll show you guys that. So now that I have the ice cream mixture in the ice cream maker, you're going to want to let that mix for about 15 to 20 minutes or so, just until you'll notice, and I'll show you guys, you'll notice it starting getting thicker and, more ice cream texture. But I forgot to mention this attachment, this bowl right here, it's actually frozen. So they say to keep it in the freezer. If you can, just keep it in there at all times if you have enough freezer space. But if you don't have enough freezer space, they say to let it sit in the freezer for about 15 hours to get it good and frozen, because that's what actually is like freezing the ice cream as it's turning here. So I'll leave the link. I'll try to remember to leave the link to this ice cream attachment in the description if you guys want to check them out. They're really cool and they're very handy. Alright, so this is about the consistency that you're going to be getting on this. It's going to be more of like a soft serve. I'm going to be adding chocolate chips and cookie dough to this. Now you can leave it just like this. Like I said, this is more of a base recipe for vanilla ice cream. You can add in strawberries, you can add in whatever you want, but I really like chocolate chip cookie dough, so I'm going to be adding some chocolate chips and some cookie dough to this. Kind of let it mix in just for a little bit longer, and then I'm going to be transferring it to an ice cream storage container that I have. So I'm going to get that mixed in. I just decided this is probably going to be easier to mix in the ingredients by hand. This bucket right here is pretty full, so I'm just scraping off the ice cream off of this dasher, and then I'm going to mix in the rest of the ingredients by hand. Now I'm just going to transfer this ice cream mixture into here without spilling it everywhere. See, right now it's more of like a soft serve consistency, but putting it in this container here and just setting it in the freezer for a few hours will harden it up. So that is gonna wrap up the homemade ice cream video tutorial. I'm gonna put the lid on this and pop it in the freezer, and in a few hours this will harden up and we'll make some good chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. I hope you guys will give this recipe a try. Like I said, I'm gonna leave all the ingredients that you need, the instructions on how to make it, in the description, so be sure and check that out. If you do try it and you like it, let me know. If you like these kind of videos of just cooking in the kitchen or whatever, let us know. Leave a comment in the comment section. Be sure and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and we thank you guys for watching. Take care, and God bless. Just to have an extra hand if someone wants to help you out with this part, but as you guys can see, don't half cups of half and half. You want full fat content, no skimping on this. Let me do that again. Be sure and hit that like button and hit this. I didn't have anything underneath the glass, and I'm talking about just pure, like, I don't know what to say.